Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel and welcome to today's live session on data types in Python. I hope all of you are doing well and practicing Python, which is very important. So mark your presence in the chat. Hi everyone. So, welcome to the world of Python programming, and today's live session is based on data types in Python. So today we are learning deep dive and we are going so deep in the world of data in Python. So at the heart of every Python program is data, because data is everywhere. Everything we do in a program revolves around storing, manipulating and analyzing data. But before we can work with data, we need to understand its type. In Python, data type is a classification that tells the language what kind of value a variable holds and what operations are allowed on it. Think of it as a label on a container. So for real world example, we can see if you have a container in which label is fruits, you can put apple or oranges in it, but not water. And why it is important? Because it helps Python use memory efficiently. It tells Python how to perform operations like addition, concatenation or comparison. It ensures your code behaves predictably and prevents error. So Python is dynamically typed, meaning you don't have to declare the type explicitly. Python automatically knows the type based on the variable you assign. But knowing the types deeply, sometimes it's critical for writing efficient, bug-free and powerful programs. Definitely, sometimes it's crucial for everyone to write powerful programs. So it is very important for the data that we should know its type. Yeah, hi. So in this session we'll explore primitive data types, simple atomic data like numbers, text and booleans, composite types like collection of values like list, tuple, sets and dictionaries, special types like none, range, bytes and more, and also how mutable and immutable type affect your program and how to inspect, convert and manipulate data types for real world application. So by the end of this class, you will not only understand what each data type is, but also how and when to use it effectively. So today's class is going to be so much fun because we are learning data types today, easy and simple to understand. Okay, so let me firstly explain you all what are data types in Python, what all sorts of data types we are going to learn today. Let me tell you, then we'll move on to the quiz section and then some example sections. Okay, so you can mark your presence in the chat. Hello everyone. Everyone should reply hello if you are available in the class today. Then we can move on to the theory section and then we'll definitely move on to the quiz section and then we'll learn some examples. Hello Ria. Okay, so should we start? Hello Abhijit. Hello. So we'll start by the theory part. So firstly let's understand what are data types in Python. Okay, so before diving into any concept, we should clear the basic concept, the basic theory concept in our mind. That's why I tell you so that it can be fixed in your mind and then we can move to the technical part. So, a data type is a classification of data that tells Python what kind of value a variable holds, what operations can be performed on that value, and how Python should store it in memory. Okay, so for real world example, we can say that imagine a container. I already told this example. Let's modify it. So imagine a container in which it is written liquid, and if you put some solid things in it, so it won't accept, it will only accept liquid. So the key concept is every piece of data in Python is an object. Even simple numbers or string are objects. So for example, integer, string, list, and values, which is the actual data. So these are all the examples of data in Python. So I told you what are data types. Now let's understand why understanding data is important. Okay, so why understanding data is important? Because firstly, it gives efficient memory usage. Means Python optimizes memory based on types. Then secondly, correct operations. So some operations only make sense for certain types and some are different. Thirdly, it avoids runtime error because knowing types helps to prevent bugs. And fourthly, real world modeling. It helps represent real world data correctly. For example, price as float, name as string, and etc. Okay, so the third concept we are going to understand is core data types in Python. Okay, so what are the core data types in Python? Now we'll understand that. So Python data types are characterized into primitive and composite types. So we'll deeply learn about primitive and composite types. So firstly, let's see what are primitive types. Okay, so primitive data types we also call it atomic. Okay, so firstly, what comes in primitive data type is numeric. Okay, so firstly, it is numeric. So Python handles numbers in three main forms. So in what all forms Python handles the number is, firstly it handles the number in integer. So what are integers? Whole numbers without a decimal. It can be positive, negative or zero. And Python integers are arbitrary precision. They can be extremely large. So if we see some example of integers, so it can be, so these are some examples of integers. And then secondly we can say is float. So what is float? Numbers with decimal points used for precision calculations, scientific computations, and etc. Internally stored in binary, so sometimes small rounding errors occurs. So what will be a float value? It can be any value which contains a decimal point. Then third one is the complex number. So in mathematics we all have studied complex numbers. So numbers with real and imaginary parts. So the syntax of complex number is a plus bi or bj. It would be an imaginary unit, and it is useful in engineering, physics, and advanced mathematics. So we can see one simple example of it. So this would be a simple example of complex numbers. So now the first part was numeric types and the second part is Boolean types. So you should listen the theory part very carefully so that it can be very much easy for you all to answer the quiz. Okay, so in the Boolean types, which is also called bool, it represents true or false, which is crucial for conditional logic, loops and comparison, and internally it is true is 1 and false is 0. And the third one we'll understand is string types. Okay, so strings are ordered sequence of characters which are immutable, cannot change individual characters directly. We can use single quotes, double quotes or even triple quotes to represent the strings. Okay, so the fourth type is none type. So it represents absence of a value or null. It is useful for default initialization or optional values. So in primitive data types we studied numeric types, boolean types, string types and none types. And now we'll see composite data type. Okay, so in composite data type, these can hold multiple items. So in composite data types, the first one is list, which is ordered, mutable, can contain mixed types, which is very versatile like a Python array. And so the next type is tuple. So tuples are ordered, mutable, immutable collections, faster than list, good for fixed data like coordinates. And the third one is set. So sets are unordered, which allows unique elements only, which is useful for removing duplicates and membership testing. Then at fourth we'll see dictionary. So dictionary are unordered and key value pairs, and keys must be unique and immutable. So our yesterday class was based on dictionary. So if you need any like list, tuple and dictionary, we already had particular classes on this. You can go and watch. So the another one is special data type. So what are special data types in Python? I would tell you is first it is byte and byte array. It store raw binary data, and secondly it is range, which is sequence of number which is used in loops. And fourthly it has dynamic typing in Python. So Python is dynamically typed, meaning variable do not have fixed types and type can change at runtime also. Fifth is type conversion, it means casting. So Python allows explicit conversion between compatible types. Okay, so this was the theory part of it, and now we'll definitely move to the quiz section. So are you all ready for the quiz section? Okay, so let's move to the quiz section. So today's first question is, I already told all the theory part, so now it should be very easy for you all to answer. So the first question of today is, Boolean is a subclass of int. Boolean is a subclass of int. Yeah, I can definitely understand. That's why I tell the theory part first so that you all can understand it and then you can answer the quiz part. So many of you are answering no. So the correct answer of this is yes, because in Python, Boolean or bool is indeed a subclass of int because it behaves like 1, which where true is 1 and false is 0. This means every boolean is also an integer. That's why boolean is a subclass of int. Now moving to the second question. This is very easy and very simple question. Tuples are mutable. Answer in yes or no. Yeah. The second question is tuples are mutable. Okay, so many of you are answering no and some of you are answering yes. So let's see its answer. So the correct answer is no, tuples are immutable. Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to the third question, which is none can be used to represent missing data. So this is the third question, that none can be used to represent missing data. The third question is none can be used to represent missing data. You have to answer in yes or no in the chats. Okay, so some of you are answering yes and some of you are answering no. So the correct answer of this is yes. None can definitely represent missing data. So now let's move on to another question. So the next question is list can store different types of element. This is also a very easy question. List can store different types of element. You have to answer in yes or no. So here I am giving you a link of WhatsApp channel. You can join this channel so that you can get daily updates. I have pinned the message. You can definitely join the channel, and before the end of this class I'll give you different quiz links so that you can attempt the quiz and you can make your knowledge on data types very strong, so that there would be a very good practice of data types and you can know how your worth is. Okay, so list can store different types of elements. So the correct answer of this is Yes, definitely list can store different types of elements. Now we'll move on to another question, which is sets allow duplicate element. Sets allow duplicate element. This is your fifth question. You have to answer in yes or no in the chats. Okay, so some of you are saying no. So the correct answer of this is no. Sets does not allow duplicate elements. Okay, so now we'll move on to another question. Yeah, sets take unique elements. So the next question is dictionary keys can be list. So this is the next question. Dictionary keys can be list. You have to answer in yes or no in the chats. Dictionary keys can be list. So some of you are saying yes and some of you are saying no. So the correct answer of this is no, because in Python dictionary keys cannot be list because dictionary keys must be immutable and a list is mutable. So it cannot be used as a key. So do you all want some more questions like this or we should move to the coding part? Do you all want some more questions like this or we should move to another examples? So here I am giving you the link. So here I am giving you the link of the quiz so that you can attempt and you can see your score. Okay, so let's move on to different examples. So firstly we'll check the type of the variable. So you are asking, can we iterate collection in Python using iterator pattern? So yes, you can iterate over collections like list, tuple, sets, dictionary using the iterator pattern. Yes, we'll definitely move on to the projects. Firstly, let's complete the basics. Then we'll definitely move on to the projects. We'll start from mini projects. Okay, so now we are moving to the another question. So the first question will check the type. Okay, we'll check the type of the variable. So this is going to be very easy for you all. Okay, so everyone tell the output of this code. So this checks the type of the variable. So I think this would be very easy for you all to answer. This is very simple and easy. I think everyone can answer this. You can answer in chat so that I should know you have understood or not. Okay, so now we'll see its output. So the correct output is float because float takes decimal value. Okay, so now we'll move on to another example. So we'll see a list operation. Okay, so the next is list operation. Let's see an example of this. So firstly we'll create a list and then we'll perform operation on it. So here this is a simple list operation and you have to answer its output in the chat. This is also a very simple and basic easy question. Okay, Ria, you have answered. Everyone should answer that so that I can know that you all are present in the class. Okay, so should we let's see its output. So the correct answer is 1, 3 and 4. So append method adds the element and remove method removes the desired element. So I hope you all have understood this. Okay, now let's move on to another example. So let's see tuples immutability. Okay, so let's see a simple example. We'll create a tuple here. Okay, so here we are checking tuples immutability. So now everyone can answer this. So I want you all to answer its output in the chat. Everyone, you should answer its output in the chat. This is also very easy and very simple. Okay, so let's see what output this will give. Yes, because we cannot have changes in tuple as tuples are immutable. Okay, so now we'll see another example. So the another example is based on dictionary manipulation. Okay, so the another example is based on dictionary manipulation. So let's see. So for that we need to create a dictionary. So this is also a simple example of dictionary manipulation. Okay, so you all have to answer now what output this will give. Okay, so I think everyone would have answered. Okay, so let's see its correct output. So the correct output is 24. At the place of age we have added 1. So it adds the list dictionary and it manipulates it. Now let's move on to another example, which would be Boolean operation. Okay, so now this is the example for Boolean operation and you have to answer this. Okay, so here I'm also giving you a link for a boolean type quiz, so you can appear this quiz and you can answer this and see your progress. Okay, so let's see its output. Yes, the correct answer is true and then false. Now let's move on to another and last example for today's class would be set operation. So can you all tell me what output this will give? So this means the union and this means the intersection. We have already studied in mathematics probably. So I think this would be easy for you all to answer. So what will be the output you all think? Okay, so now let's see what output this would give. So the correct answer is in the first one it added both the list, and in the second one it gave the element which was present in both the list. Okay, so if you have any doubt related to today's Python class, you can ask right now, and you can definitely tell when we can schedule the next Python class and on which topic we should conduct another class. On which topic you all want to see the next live class. And here I'm giving you one more quiz link. Solve it and be the master of Python. So tell me on which topic we should conduct our next Python class. I hope you all have enjoyed today's Python data types live class session, and keep practicing with the codes and quizzes so that you all can master this topic quickly. Remember, in Python everything is an object, and knowing your data type is the key to writing clean, efficient and bug-free code. Okay, so thank you everyone for today's activeness. Thank you. Bye bye.